Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to another Supreme Commander Epic. That's right, it's going to be another long one today, ladies and gentlemen, in part to make up for the fact that there's been a 2-week break in programming, or potentially more, I don't know. Due in part to the fact that it was the kids' school half-term, but also partly due to the FAF server migration, which, let's face it, took a little bit longer than we were all expecting. It's just been so difficult to find replays. I've been having a few sent in to me, but a couple of weeks ago you'd log in and even at peak times there was only a couple of hundred players logged in because so many people couldn't get the client to actually run. But I logged in last night and that seems to be a thing of the past because there are about 800 people online, so it seemed to be running at normal rates, normal user rates, which is nice. Huge thank you to Shio and all the rest of you who have put so much hard work in to keep everything running. We really do appreciate it, and of course Divisionic for keeping the project on course. And also, separately on another note, huge thank you to the people, or my Guilites, my FAF fans on the Facebook page who entered the little logo competition for the wife's business. Those who don't know, the wife is starting up a small swimming school, and I asked a few people to have a go at getting a logo together for me. It's not really a competition because there wasn't anything to win except prestige. So thank you to all of you though who entered that, devoting your free time. I really do appreciate it, but a special thank you to the winning participant, which is Ross Capecco 2000. Thank you very much to him. Massively appreciated it, buddy. Logo looks great. Very much looking forward to getting that sorted. Anyway, on to today's game. Like I said, it's going to be a Supreme Commander Epic, and it's going to be a custom 2v2v2, and I'm going to give you one guess, guys. One guess as to where the action is going to take place. You nailed it. It's the Dark Heart. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. Always love a bit of Dark Heart. What I don't love is disagreeing with the user interface. And where the user interface tells me that Team 1 is over here and Team 3 is over here, I get very upset. But for the sake of harmony, and because it might get a little bit confusing if I differ, I'm going to yield and accept that Team 1 is over here, Team 2 at the bottom, that's just all wrong, and Team 3 at the top left. There are a few weird issues I have, and this is one of them, but I will move on. I'll move on. Going first for Team 1, up here at the top right in Vivacious Violet, it's none other than Nanotech 33. He's going Aeon, opening first land. His teammate down here in Mellow Yellow, it's none other than Softly, and he is opening Cybrin first land. Team 2 down here at the bottom on the southern landmass is Gently, first of all, in Volvo Beige, going Seraphim, opening first land, and his teammate to the left, none other than Naquilich. He is going Cybrin in Regal Purple, opening first land. And then up to Team 3 at the top left, we've got Nexus of Reality, first of all, also going Cybrin in Electric Blue, opening first land. And last but not least, we have Hush, going Seraphim in Spetsnaz Green, opening first land. So there we have it. And I can assure you, despite having names like Gently, Softly, and Hush in this one, it's going to be anything but a quiet game. It's actually going to be quite a well-balanced game. Softly is the leading player in terms of global ladder ranking at 1900. His teammate over here is on 1000. So we've got the top and the bottom rated player teamed up, and then the other two sets of teams pretty evenly balanced there. So Gently on 1500, Naquilich on 1600, and then Nexus of Reality on 1500, and who we've got over here is it's Hush on 1400. So there we go. Probably would have made sense to have the 1400 and the 1600 on the same team then. Two 1500s together. But anyway, that's just by the by. It's pretty damn near perfect. As the first Zuis fire the first shots on the map, Gently is going to get us started by placing a very small but a very precise amount of pressure on Softly's exposed T1 Mass Extractor, and that is going to go down. So a nice pickup from him. First blood to Gently, second blood to Softly. There's a phrase that I don't ever expect to be saying again in my lifetime. And he's going to go on and throw down a naval factory next to the cliff face. Not the most defensible position, but it is close, and therefore will save him time. So more Zuis inbound, this time from Team 3, and Hush looks like he's going to throw a bit of a smackdown on Nanotech if the gunners on board the Zois can find the fire button. It's on there somewhere, guys. Just keep looking. Nope. Must have been scraping the bottom of the barrel at the Seraphim Academy the day those guys joined up. Engineers down here, scooping mass. Nikolic being very nefarious indeed and going straight after Nexus of Reality's destroyer wreck. God, he said Salem there. It's not Salem at all. My God, brain freeze. Can't even remember what it is. But anyway, he got the larger share of that mass and is then going to go ahead and finish off Nexus of Reality's NGs. So for the moment, that looks like a little bit of a hold for him. No NGs inbound from Softly to his side island, so an engineer has a head start there from Gently. However, the ACU is on the move, and it looks like we finally managed to work out how to fire the gun, and Nanotech will take a few casualties there. In fact, 3 of the 4 core mass are out of commission. Nanotech managing to take out one of the 2 twos initially, now working on the other, but still more shells inbound, so there's definitely ground fire there. Lack of radar signature would have been the problem on that. No scout planes going overhead, so I had to rely on ground fire. Hush gonna take his ACU out and move it towards the upper middle landmass. We do have some Auroras inbound on that landmass from Nanotech, looking to shoo Hush off the island. It's all going to come down to that T1 PD. That engineer furiously building away, but only 600 go, 700 hit points complete. A couple of Thams brought in to assist, but the Auroras should win out just with 1 survivor, and that means the engineer is going to go down and not be allowed to complete that, but it's all rather moot since we have an ACU inbound for Hush and none inbound there for Nanotech. We do have a land factory online. Generally, we don't fare too well against an ACU. And Nexus of Reality just avoiding any real push for that bottom left-hand island. Doesn't want to get embroiled in an argument over that. No, he's going to go ahead and scoop up some of the mass points on the middle landmass, which is always a pretty risky and generally temporary strategy, since the amount of different opposing naval forces that are going to be swimming around this landmass for the course of the game, it's going to be nigh on impossible to hold those for any real length of time. Softly sitting down here, hoovering up Gently's wreck. There it goes, ACU putting all that mass to good use, no doubt. 1 Trident and 1 Sliver going after Hauezel, Seraphim frigate. We actually have early T2 Navy out for Gently. Not currently building anything with it though. If you can get a destroyer online quickly, that would be an easy way to secure this bay area. And in fact, doesn't look like Softly's hanging around too close to those. Doesn't want to push his luck, would like to hold on to those units and maybe amass a stronger force a little bit further back. Not a bad idea. And 1 Sliver chasing away a couple of Tridents there. Nexus of Reality did manage to get that submarine out, but lost the T1 naval yard in the process. T1 bombers out over to the right, or a T1 bomber looking to cause what minor damage it can. Was en route to Softly's base, but too many frigates in the channels deny the chance for a quick attack. And Gently on the central landmass, just kind of picking off targets of Nexus of Reality. The odd unit. 1 land factory out here producing Medusas and Mantis, it would seem. Now we're going to start to see some anti-submarine production going on. T2 naval facility online for Nikolic as well. And a sliver of his own. Not before time. The odd frigate sinking to the bottom of the channel there. I like what I'm seeing from Team 2. Good bit of teamwork there. Nequilich assisting with real purpose there. That's a lot of build capacity he's thrown on that. What are we looking at here? 18 engineers he has thrown onto that, albeit temporarily. But it's certainly helped gently get one of those destroyers out. Gently putting out 25 mass per tick. Compare that to Softly, who's on 60, 65, juggling between the two. I get the impression this is going to be a tough hold for Gently on that bottom right-hand corner. And surprisingly, Hush still yet to evict Nanotech from this middle upper landmass. A third T1 land factory about to go online. Hush was getting an upgrade on his commander there, and that's the T2 upgrade. Gently pushing against Team 1 with his naval forces, but even with that destroyer, it's a lot of units to contend with. Softly going after that destroyer in a big way. He's going to lose quite a lot of units in the process, but ultimately has managed to keep that T1 naval yard online for a little bit longer. Another naval factory queued up from Nequilich, this time on the eastern channel. He's going to go and throw that down after he completes T1 torpedo launcher. So one of the 3 land factories already destroyed, no doubt from Zui fire there by Hush, who is now strolling in with the ACU as well, and that looks like a T2 PD. As soon as that goes online, that will surely represent the end of Team 1's presence on that landmass up at the top. So Gently has pulled his ACU away from that central island into the channel here, and Nequilich has moved forward with his. He's now putting some pretty serious pressure over on Nexus of Reality. Just one naval yard at the back, one at the front. The one at the back is at T2 and starting to produce Salems. Frigates brought in there by Nanotech, trying to take down that T2 point defense, but not with any success. He realizes his campaign for that section of ground is over, at least for the moment. Salem rolls off the conveyor belt there for Nexus of Reality, and not before time, as boats from Nequilich once again stroll into that body of water. They need to keep their distance away from that cliff edge. Unnecessary fire absorbed from that T1 PD there. And there we go. A Gunther centrally placed under construction there for Nexus of Reality. That's going to help provide some good cover against those incoming T2 boats. Take a quick moment to take stock of the eco side of things. So 76 mass per tick seems to be the lead there for Nexus of Reality. Softly on 64, hasn't really moved the dial much on eco. The Quilich on 65, 66. And then we're looking at Hush on 48. And then Gently on 29 and Nanotech on 21. So pretty evenly spread between the teams. We're getting some T2 aircraft in the sky now from Hush, who's starting to pump out some torpedo bombers. And I like what I'm seeing here. Beachhead online from the Quilich. 3 land factories, radar, and now point defense going down. And Softly not even going to stand and making a fight of it from this side. Instead, he's strolling out into the ocean where he feels he can be more effective, and with the nanite torpedo launcher, I'm sure he probably has the right idea there. Down goes the T1 torpedo launcher. Remains are the 2 destroyers out of that small group of ships for Gently. Now we're seeing that Gunther go to work on the bottom left-hand corner landmass. The Quilich getting an upgrade on his comm in the water there. Still quite a few mass extractors in the center under Nexus of Reality's control. 4 of them there, all sitting at T1. There's probably not a great deal of point in upgrading those. As soon as they hit T2, they become priority targets, really. Not going to hold on to those for very long. And I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Softly's yielding this island to the Quilich now. It'll be interesting to see if once he has control, if he holds on to all of that mass, or if he hands it over to Gently. Strategically speaking, probably make more sense if he held on to it himself. I'm sure Gently wouldn't mind, being as he was the one who dislodged his mirror, but this is now a subject of concern. It's all very well and good, their team getting control of the bottom right-hand corner island, but if Gently's base gets incinerated by long-range destroyer fire in the process, then it'll all be for nothing. And Nexus of Reality actually pushing back against the Quilich, who's now finished that upgrade, and that too was the nanite torpedo launcher. So in the nick of time, Quilich completes something that forces Nexus of Reality back. So bottom left hand corner looks like it's about to change hands, but it's going to be some time really before we get Nexus of Reality back in control of it, so it's in contention. Bottom right hand corner sort of under the Quilich's control, although fire from the channel from Softly is going to make it hard to get any kind of eco operation. The only real landmass that's even semi-secure belongs to Hush up here at the top. He's getting another upgrade on his comm, but things may be about to change there too, as we're starting to see some more T2 vessels arrive on the scene from Team 1. One Exodus class destroyer there from Nanotech, and then 3 more Salems in the center from Softly. Gently asking why are you making T3 air when we're both getting wrecked? Well, sometimes changing it up is no bad thing. And I wouldn't say it's anywhere near as dire, although it's starting to look a little bit intimidating for Team 2 on this side of the map. Nexus is developing quite nicely and is now in control of this bottom left-hand corner as well. And in eco terms, on 101 generated mass per tick, his teammate on 81. So team-wise, they are way out in front on eco, significantly so. So Team 3 well in the lead at this point. Team 1 in second on 118. Team 2 way down on a woeful 79. So Softly still operating on T1 air. At T2 Air Factory from the Quilich was paused, I'm guessing at the point of concern there from his teammate from Gently. Hasn't been resumed since. We're at T1 Air for Nexus as well, but T2 and nearly at T3 now for his teammate. So Hush about to have a different kind of strategic advantage in hand. Having said that, the Dark Heart, with its channels and its heavily centered naval-based play, air power doesn't give you as much of an advantage as it might on other maps. But a harm's under construction for Softly, who really is looking like shutting down this portion of the map now. The Quilich just about to finish another upgrade. And there it goes, and that's the RAS, so large eco injection for him. Still leaves him well behind Nexus, who's on 110, and Hush actually chomping at the bit now as well. He's on around about 100. And Softly must be reclaiming something. That can't be a legitimate eco. 91 seems much more appropriate. Huge wall section going up, or has gone up at the front of Team 2's base. Stops Zooey spam from rolling in. It's not going to stop any experimentals though. 22 minutes gone. Around about that time when you might see one or two under construction. It's quite evenly matched though, this one. It's always a risk going for an experimental if you're facing an opponent who is pretty even on ability, or even just if the game seems to be playing out rather evenly. But a strap bomber for Hush, and just to take down a naval vessel over at the east there. You can probably afford to be just a little bit more adventurous with that. We've got a lot of T1 inties kicking around in the center, but you can get in and get out, hit some strategic targets, maybe some core mass extractors for Nanotech there. Really paralyze Team 1, which in turn will completely change the dynamic down here as more forces have to be rerouted north to fend off Nexus, who seems to be causing problems for both Team 1 and Team 2 simultaneously. Salem's for Nequilich, working primarily on the base over the bottom left-hand corner landmass. There is the larger number of Salem's belonging to Nexus. Have been focusing their fire a little bit further to the east, like they were dropping some shells in on the main base for a while there, and it strikes me there's a distinct lack of development going on down here. Now we are seeing a resumption of that upgrading there on that air factory at 88% and climbing, so Nequilich will be at T3 air soon. However, sitting on just 4.1k power, and a lot of that no doubt already spoken for. Might need to invest in T3 power plant before he gets any bold ideas on that one. Could we be about to see another change of possession for this bottom left-hand corner landmass? Salem's for Nequilich now raining fire down on that stronghold in the center there. Still 3 shield gens online. One of the mass extractors goes down. Worth getting on shore, sprouting those evil Cybran boat legs. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Chills my bones every time I see it. Right up there with spiders sprouting wings. Never a good idea. Build capacity in that stronghold, hastily trying to build more shield gens. Also a problem for Cybran players, of course, is that annoying upgrade mechanic on the shields. Makes it very difficult to turtle up. But a very stout defense from Nexus Reality up top. A lot of destroyers coming in from Softly, but they are most definitely outnumbered. And what concerns me for both Team 1 and Team 2 is the mass field that might be yielded here. And there we go, the first experimental is online. And the question is, where did he build it? So he built it over here. And Ethota is on the move. That means he's going to be going right the way around and probably potentially coming in around the back here to hit Nanotech. And there we see the engineers now moving out, trying to get their greedy mitts on all that mass at the bottom of the ocean. And Nequilich has managed to seize control of that bottom left-hand corner island. So power in flux once again in this one. Engineers committing suicide by strolling past the harms there. That's a whole lot of juicy meat on the bones for Softly. He says, thank you very much for your rally point. I'll take some more. And Adithota has crossed over that middle landmass and is now heading in towards Nanotech's base. The Quilich says his Monkey Lord that he's building is 15% done. Or was he referring to one that someone else was building? Well, there's an awful lot going on. It's hard to tell at this point, but we'll see soon enough with the funky announcing mod. Nanotech gets his comm underwater nice and quickly. But Adithota now strolling onto Team 1's landmass. Nexus telling his teammate to kill his base. Nanotech actually calling out GG in private chat to Hush there. But I don't think it actually looks like it's going to be him he has to worry about. This is a good decision from Hush. I like his thinking. He's going to take that Ethota to the more dangerous target, and that is the 1900 globally rated Softly, who has got very little other than the Salems dotted around the place to challenge that Ethota with. First core mass down. That was a T3, and that is going to hurt. Still a good 35,000 hit points on that chicken as it strolls directly into the main base. There goes a second core mass and all of the mass extractors, sorry, the mass storage around it. There goes another couple of T2 P-gens and another, still two more sets of core mass to take out. There goes a third. Down well into the red now, 5,000 hit points and falling. Down goes another T2 P-gen. Softly now putting out a woeful 3.5k power. Does manage to hold on to that final core mass extractor, although there is an Ion Storm that is raging. Down goes the land headquarters. That was a very, very painful assault indeed for Team 1. Softly now off the top spot. Nexus Reality says, thank you very much. I'll take that on score, and I wouldn't be surprised if Hush overtakes him soon as well, although he's not really doing a great deal else at the moment. Just ecoing and building, but look out, strategic missile launcher online up here at the top. He's going to throw down a shield gen and a T3 P-gen to assist that. And another one down here as well. So two strategic missile launchers have crept into the game without my not so eagle eye noticing it. Nexus of Reality, excuse me, completes that spider. That must have been the Monkey Lord that the Quilich was referring to. Gently asserted that the destroyer should be able to counter it. Well, we'll see. I don't think that spider is likely to end up heading towards Team 1, or I would be surprised if it was going to, after Hush dealt such a large blow to Softly, but it does actually look like it's heading that way. Wouldn't be my decision at all, but then I am no pro at this game, as we've discussed many times. Galaxy-class battleships now on the field for Team 3. And that might just be the first battleship that we've seen on the map. I think it is. And another one already under construction. Attack ping going down on that T3 naval facility as it constructs another one. They have one too. What are they talking about? Talking about the Monkey Lord that Softly has completed, rolling out from their base as we speak. see, that could cause all sorts of problems for Team 2 if used immediately, but after you've taken such a large hit, the instinctual reaction would be to keep it for base defense. That's probably not a bad idea, bearing in mind there could well be a Monkey Lord inbound on their base. Softly now moving his fleet into the channel between Hush and his side island. Most of it T1 frigates, which is great at absorbing the damage, but not brilliant at dishing out the pain. Excuse me. Huge amount of fire coming in from all directions now. We'll take a look at what Team 1 can see. Well, they've spotted the nuke launcher, and that is probably what this little push is all about, but they seriously lack the firepower required to break through and kill that thing. Shield gen's down to around 3,500 hit points on the actual shield itself, but Softly is losing ships and losing it fast, and now we've got a battleship rolling in as well from Nexus. The shield has collapsed, and they've managed to take out the structure of one of the shields as well. The nuke launcher is okay, and that nuke is nearly done as well. Nanotech completes an experimental. It's a Colossus way back there. If I was him, I'd be sending him directly against that nuke launcher as we speak. Who knows, if Hush is slow to react, he might bag an ACU kill out of it as well. And now the experimentals are coming in thick and fast. Softly completes another one.
Strategic launch detected.
As and where that is, but actually the first person to launch a nuke is Gently. And where's he going with it? Well, that is going straight after Nexus's base. Nexus getting his ACU out of danger. Yes, he knows that's going to connect. No strategic missile defense in place. Boom, baby! That's a beautiful sight.
Strategic launch detected.
So as Nexus Reality's base is wiped off the face of the planet, another power shift comes in. There goes the nuke from Hush. Going after Gently's base, which is an interesting decision. Not seeing any strategic missile defense in here. Probably would have been a better choice as far as I'm concerned. But we're just happy we get to see a nuke land. Ultimately, that's all that really matters. So this game now well and truly all over the place. The GC has made it into position, has taken down the nuke launcher. That might have been a hasty fire there from the nuke. Get it out of the silo while we still can. At a target we know doesn't have nuke defense because we haven't checked everywhere else. Hush did manage to get his ACU away from danger. And of course all of this fire and counter-fire that's going on is giving Team 1 the breathing room they need to get re-established. Nanotech completes another experimental, and it's a Tempest. I like what I see. Hush does not. Nanotech seems to think that the game is over. It's always interesting to examine the conversation in real time. You are privy to all sides of it. And a megalith in the center now for Softly, who seems to have finally got rid of those mass extractors in the center that Nexus of Reality was profiteering from. Who knows, maybe it would have been worth upgrading them. Managed to hold on to them long enough. This is interesting. Nikolic moving an awful lot of destroyer firepower to the east to go after Softly's sea defenses over here. Say it's interesting because the battleships up here from Nexus would be concerning me if I were in Nikolic's shoes. That Tempest finally on the move. Ungainly things as they are, tough to maneuver around the cliffs of maps with narrow channels. Long-range destroyer fire, cruiser fire. Seraphim cruisers absolutely deadly. GC with 31 kills to its name, now running away from a destroyer. Firmly underwater, too deep to pop his little laser face out and incinerate that boat. Not much you can do about it. Best to turn tail and run. Surprised he didn't send it in here to go after Hush's base, but this is an interesting development. Hush with an arse washer, 30,000 hit points of 52,000, complete and climbing. That could be a major game changer, being as we have seen very little airplay in this game so far. We have T3 on the field for Nikolic and for Hush, but I'm pretty certain
Strategic launch detected.
those are the only players that have access to it, and Nikolic has not been building ASFs. So that's what I'm talking about. There's a large number of ASFs there from Nexus, but a second nuke out from Gently. That's going to go off, so it's been spotted. Oh, this could be very painful indeed. Hush, you might want to move your ACU. It's alright, he's dropped it short, you should be okay, but the arse washer will not. Oh, that is so painful. Hush, not happy about that at all. Feels he should be going after presumably someone on Team 1. They're massing an awful lot of experimentals now. Nanotech with 2 Tempests. Started as Tsar, he's got a Colossus under the water. And Softly, well, not quite re-established yet, but he's not far off. Working on a strategic missile defense. Could have got hit once again there. I'm surprised he didn't elect to go in there. But having said that, I don't know, man. An Al-Rassar right now would be absolutely deadly if microed properly. That could be a game ender right here. So probably a pretty solid move there from Gently. Can almost sense the fear in Hush's voice as he yells on comms to his teammates, who is far too tied up with Nikolic to really do anything about it. Well, he's got 4 battleships online now. Tempests must go after those, which they are doing. So there goes one of them. Oh, there goes another one. And that was pretty healthy too. There is another battleship up here belonging to Hush. 3 volleys from those 2 experimentals, enough to dispatch those battleships. Nice TAC missile battery on the shore there from Gently, no doubt trying to pick off some of these battleships. It's tough to do. Of course, those battleships have tactical missile defense, so in any number they should manage to take those down reasonably well. Those are going to miss anyway. Now Megalith's still online, 27 kills now to its name. Now you can never tell really whether that's correctly labeled. So I think Hush accidentally offered Seraphim Tech to Gently, which would be a bit weird since he is playing Seraphim. Meant to send that to his teammate. But this would scare me now if I was Team 2. 4 battleships and a Megalith rolling in, and a Monkey Lord as well, rolling in on their position now. Do we have another nuke on the way? No, it's paused. Why is that paused? That's a shocking idea. Definitely wouldn't have gone with that myself. A well-placed nuke right here could tidy half of this up. I think they're about to wish they had, as the Monkey Lord and the Megalith breach onto land. Both targeting separate players. The Monkey Lord going after Gently's base. The Megalith prioritizing Nequilich. Down goes the strategic missile defense. A couple of renegades brought in by Nequilich. That's going to take a long time to chew through that Megalith, especially with it gaining more veterancy. And now it's depleting shields and going after the power grid. This one is definitely going to sting, or it won't if it backs up out of range. That is very lucky indeed. Nequilich with 11k power, 4k left net. But the Monkey Lord is eradicating all remains of Gently's base. And now those galaxies rolling in as well on the bottom. I'm wondering if he's starting to wish he had gone after Team 1 with that nuke. Oh, they did manage to kill off that PGen in the end. 3 Cerberus turrets wailing away on that Megabot. Still 30,000 hit points left. Is he going to try and withdraw? Well, it certainly looks like it. 20,000 hit points and falling quick. He's out of range now of the Cerberus turrets, but he's still taking battleship fire from the 2 galaxies sitting either side of the island there. Only 9,000 hit points remain on that bottom one. Gently out of the water is trying to get some shield coverage online, something to hide behind. The water now, of course, not really an option. It's really bugged me that he's paused that nuke launcher. I just don't know why you would. How's that Tsar doing? Well, that Tsar is very nearly complete. And we've got another Arsewasher on the way. So that's about 70% done, something like that. 65-70% done. Had the wreck to work on, of course. So a lot of free mass just sitting there to put into the new project. Another Awusar on the way, this time from Gently. But surely he's not going to be allowed to finish that. Not with the amount of boats that's coming down the back channel. Gently strolls out of his shield, wants to get in range and start overcharging some of these boats. Two of these galaxies are pretty badly beat up as it happens. Well, Softly deciding to hold on to the experimentals rather than send them careering in to finish off the bases. Interesting decision. I suppose the mass dump offers your opponent a chance to get back in the game. There goes the nuke launcher. Hush sends a private message to Gently saying it's GG for going after him and not Team 1. Well, it'd be interesting to see what Hush does, if he's vengeful and goes straight after Team 2, or if he's sensible and goes after Team 1. That could still very much be a game changer, that experimental bomber. And that is completed. And apart from the surface-to-air fire, there's not a lot that's going to cause it problems. We do have a few ASFs over here, I suppose. So Nanotech recognizing the danger. He's got 23 ASFs. Softly has been too busy and too poor of late, ever since he got hit by that nuke, to invest himself. He's got a handful, 14, two of which are out of fuel. Interceptors, not ASFs. One Solace overhead from Nanotech. Presumably that's what picked off the battleship there as it sinks towards the bottom. And interesting, so Hush transferring control of the Awusar over to Nexus, recognizing that he probably has a better chance of inflicting maximum casualties. Lots of GGs going out, lots of people talking about it, but there goes Gently, killed off by Softly's Monkey Lord that returned. The Quilich was trying to finish him off with the Whalers, but we finally lose our first player. And there goes the Awusar that he'd been working on as well. Question is, where is the Awusar over here? Well, they're not doing anything with it yet. Could be an absolute game changer, though. Nanotech moving his Tsar over to the top of Softly's fleet. You get the feeling they just want to kill off Nikolic so they can focus on Team 3, maybe even grab the landmass and the eco. In come Nano's ASFs on a very, very ill-advised encounter indeed, throwing away his air superiority fighters as they get eviscerated by all of that Myrmidon fire, and now there's even less on the field to challenge that Awusar. But what is going to be interesting is the Tsar that's coming in. This could be a bit of a waste. Myrmidons should chew through that pretty damn quickly, but the air crash will inflict a lot of damage. Nexus of Reality's commander is underneath there. primary weapon unloads on the shields. The first few collapse, but there it goes. It is going to land on unshielded buildings. What damage is it going to do? Well, a hell of a lot. And Nexus of Reality was under there. I can't believe it. Oh my god, and the Awasar was transferred to his control. Nanotech screams pancake in local, but it was transferred over, so that gets shared back to Hush's control, which is a feature I like. But now Nikolic and Hush must work together in order to prevent Team 1 from walking away with this one. So 50 minutes gone, 2 players down. Team 1 now firmly in the driving seat of this one. Oh, I gotta admit, I did not think that Tsar was gonna get the job done. But pleasantly surprised would be an understatement. A Scathis on the way. But it's not going to get completed because in comes the experimental bomber. Softly is very nearby, and it looks like he's going straight for the con kill. He's hovering overhead trying to get a second bomb off. He's not going to manage it. He's going to have to take another run in. Lots of anti-aircraft fire coming in. We've got lots of Myrmidons in the core base. There look to be about 40% of the hit points remain. Nikolic, meanwhile, is under a lot of pressure down here at the bottom. Battleships laying into his base, but in comes the Awasar again. Softly has moved on to the only remaining shield in the area, but that has now been destroyed. Softly down to 4,900. This will turn the game on its head if he manages to pick off Softly's ACU here. Softly very hastily constructing more shield gens, but they're very basic ones indeed. And it's not going to save him. Down goes Softly just a minute later after Nexus. And that relinquishes the pressure on the Nikolic, but Hush is now under assault from Nano, who has the GC in his main base. Hush's ACU is safe. It's over here. There goes Softly's base and all of his belongings. And it is now a simple 1v1v1. Each team losing a player. And that GC is sustaining minimal damage, really. It shouldn't have any problem killing off most of this stuff if it would stand still and just aim at one thing. The Awasar still online and is now going after Nanotech's base. 2 of the core mass down, the other 2 survive, and the air factory still with 9,000 hit points remaining. But all of that build capacity that was around it just got annihilated. ASF's coming in one at a time trying to challenge that Awasar, which has 167 kills. There goes the T3 air factory. No more ASFs for you, and in fact not much of anything left for you. I cannot believe it that Awasar single-handedly has annihilated Team 1. All that remains are a couple of experimentals and a few structures here and there in the ACU of Nanotech. And meanwhile, that GC continues to pile on the pressure against Hush. I can't believe it, but Nikolic could win by proxy. He's down there, he's doing his thing, he's just picking up the spare eco yielded by the death of his teammate. He has got another GC to worry about coming his way. But really, Hush needs to turn his attention. He needs to kill off this GC. That's the first thing he needs to do. Then he needs to take that Awasar and start going to work on the Quilich's base. Doesn't want to put any pressure on that GC as yet. That could be his friend right now. Going straight after the naval yard. The naval yard will survive, but the engineers won't. They die in their hundreds. Metaphorically speaking. Probably more like 40. GC still alive with 11.5k HP. And that Awasar with 24k HP and 198 kills is about to kill some more. Well, no matter what happens in the result, Hush for MVP, I think. That experimental bomber has just destroyed everything. Always a good reason why you should have an Air Force ready. 20, 30 ASFs and this thing becomes a non-factor and the outcome of the game is completely different. And now GC coming onto land. It's going to eat some Monkey Lord fire as soon as it gets high enough above water. Well, actually the Monkey Lord just with the tip of its laser. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. GC strolls past it. The Quilich hiding somewhere. There he is. Desperately trying to get some Myrmidons online. Trying to get something that can shoot back at this thing. Just 7.5k left, though, on that experimental bomber. And this run should be its last, maybe. Oh, my God. 70 hit points. But ultimately, doesn't get out of range. And down it goes. Well, hasn't that unit just defined this game? Outrageous, and I think we can afford to bounce this to +2. Nanotech says, I've had enough. Screw you guys. I'm going home. And there goes Team 1, who looks so certain of winning this. One lone whaler traversing across the map, taking fire from the aircraft carrier there. I like what I was seeing here. Lots and lots of NGs going to work on those Tempest wrecks. In fact, there's just generally a lot of mass everywhere. Absolutely outrageous game. 3 battleships now moving up to Hush's side of the map. One Ethota online from Hush and making its way down around, if that trajectory stays consistent there, around that bottom left-hand corner landmass. And just generally set on patrol by the looks of things. Excuse me. It's like the nuclear winter after World War VII. So much going on, and then by the end of it, a few humans remain. Thota breaches onto land. It's taking a lot of fire from the battleships and has got a Monkey Lord coming in behind it. So that is not going to make it to any critical territory where it can do any major damage to Nequilich. But then Nequilich is quite spread out now anyway. Hush says GG. Is he going to throw in the towel? Well, he's trying to get another Awasar online. I don't blame him after the last one was so successful. If I was Nikolic, I would be building some frickin' aeroplanes. But I don't think it's going to matter. Nexus says he didn't expect Bottom to win this. Well, I've got to agree, it didn't look like they were going to. In fact, it looked like they were going to finish last. But that is what you've got to love about free-for-alls. Quilic constructs a Monkey Lord. Another Monkey Lord inbound. I'd be tempted to go after the build capacity rather than just the Awasar, because you can see by the progress bar on the commander there, it's very nearly complete. This is going to be close. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. He gets another one of those airborne. Can he take out those battleships? They're pretty hard, chunky things to take out, and he didn't get a good angle on that approach, so it didn't drop. This should be a good one, though. Nikolic needs to space those battleships out as best he can. He's gone for the middle one, which, as you can see, takes a chunk out of it, but still 50% of its hit points remains. Really wanted to get that landing on top of all three boats if he could. Quilic's Monkey Lord makes its way onto the cliff edge. It's going to eat an experimental bomb. Tanks that without any real difficulty. Really, he needs to find Nikolic's commander. It's down here and it's building a bug. That was super. That was... I don't know what's going on there. See what he can see. Well, not a huge amount. God, I hadn't even realized. So he's set up proxy bases at the bottom right-hand corner and on Team 1's old landmass up at Nanotech's old base. What on earth is this Awasar doing? Hush not happy at all about its directional heading. Hush now slowly being tickled to death by Monkey Lord and Galaxy class battleship torpedoes. Not a great deal of damage between those two, but the T2 torpedo bombers that are inbound should handle it, and that Awasar gets one final bomb off, and there goes the last real tool that Hush had. He's not happy about it at all, said it's not listening to him. To be honest, when you're faffing around with it at the edge of the map, that happens. And in come the Cormorants. It's like watching paint dry. But we're all right with it. Nexus says time to control K. I concur. It's alright. No one will judge you. Well, he managed to complete... Oh no, sorry, it was Quilic. I'm getting confused. It's been a long cast. And my 2-week break makes me rusty. Boom, baby! Well, that was a highly entertaining game. Team 2 emerging victorious. Nikolic outlasting everybody when it looked like their team was going to drop first. Fabulous job, chaps, all round. I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys all did too. As always, more to come from me in the future. But in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.